shop for over 30 years.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will climb into the lower 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 50s. On Tuesday, right back to sunshine. Our high in the mid to upper 80s. And then Wednesday, mixed with clouds and sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hit.line.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that's the perspective. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
That's even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Well, we got our first gut-wrenching loss of the season. Hopefully get that out of the way for a while now. But, man, that was tough. That was really tough. You're reminded that Arkansas football sometimes can play really well and sometimes still have trouble getting out of their own way. Well, what a bummer of a loss on Saturday. And I know we look at the first game against UAPB as the real start of the football season. I know in a lot of people's eyes, Saturday's game against Oklahoma State was the real start to the football season. But you are 1-1 right now instead of 0-1, so you can put a positive spin on that. Thought the team played hard, thought they played well for a good chunk of the game. They do look physical. They do look ready to go. Now, there's some things to clean up. I think it might be a better team than last year, although you don't want to see the same things that we saw last year about finding ways to lose close games. Good morning and welcome into halftime on a Monday. It is great to be with you as we get your week started. Phil Elson, my partner Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, or Colton Little in the studios today. Never quite know who's going to be in there. 39-31, Oklahoma State in double overtime after a 14-0 lead at the end of the first half. 21-7 lead going into halftime. Arkansas totally dominated every aspect of the game in the first half. And, man, for a good chunk of the second half, it looked like a different team. So, obviously, that is the main focus of halftime today. Matt, good morning. Was a beautiful day for a game on Saturday at Boone Pickens Stadium, and it almost felt like we watched two different games out there. I guess we can look at it two ways. One, they stood tall with Oklahoma State. They looked like the better team for most of the game. They still couldn't get out of their own ways. Some of the same mistakes we've seen in the past 2 years in close ball games. So, I don't know. Which direction would you take it?
Yeah, happy Monday. Man, football is back. What a beautiful game. You knew it would come down to 2 or 3 plays a game. I talk about this all the time. You watch the game, and there's a couple plays that if we could have made or unforced errors that we didn't make and don't beat yourselves, then we're singing a different tune, but it's just part of it. It's the ultimate team game, and you got to play for all 60 minutes. I thought the first 30 minutes, except for like one play, you go back to that first half where Taylor Green makes this unbelievable scramble in the pocket, scrambling around, doing his thing. And then he's throwing across his body, throws it 40 yards on a dime to number 5 in the end zone, and he doesn't make the catch. All right, he's an SEC receiver, and, hey, stuff happens, and he'll be the first one to tell you, you catch that ball, you're up 28-0. 2 plays later, he throws a pick six. It's 21-7. So it just comes down to a couple little plays here and there. And I guess you said it, Phil. We have the talent. We have the talent to make those plays. We just didn't make them for whatever reason.
I just remember, at times over the last couple of years, and you'd be like, wow, they kind of just got pushed around. There's no room to run. KJ's always got somebody in his face, and the defense is just kind of trying to hold on to the game with 2 hands and onto their fingernails at the very end. I didn't walk away from Saturday's game feeling that at all. In fact, I thought Arkansas looked like the more physical team. I think they looked like the stronger team. I thought they did get worn down in the second half, especially defensively. But I don't know. It's like there are the positives to take from it, that it looks like a team that will compete this year with some of the better schools in the SEC. But, man, I also feel like you left a really big win out there. It was left out there. It was right there in front of Arkansas. And truthfully, I mean, you look at a final score of 39-31. I don't know. I mean, it could have been like, honestly, I feel like that game could have been like a 42-17 win for the Razorbacks if just a few things went in the right direction, just like the pass you're talking about, which was a perfect throw by Green right there for Broden to catch through his hands. A couple plays later, pick six going the other way, and they still recovered from that to take the 21-7 lead going into halftime. Just more mistakes.
Well, our turnover was 0 points, Phil. We got 1 turnover. Heck of a play. Heck of a cornerback.
Singletary.
I mean, oh, my goodness. That's going to be one of the best defensive plays all year. Into the half, we stopped them from scoring. So aggregated 0-0, but we got no points off of it. How many points did they score off of our 3 turnovers?
10.
That's the game. It's as simple as that. And our turnovers weren't even effort turnovers. They were just bonehead turnovers. They were mental lapses in judgment, something that you take for granted. And Coach Nutt always preached that the most important thing out there is the football. We can't have the football on the ground. It's unacceptable to have those type of turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, the turnovers are one aspect of it. And, yes, if you take the turnovers away, well, you win the football game. The pick six, the fumble on the drop pitch, and the muffed punt.
But what happened on the very first punt, Phil? Our own guy runs into our punt returner, right? The guy catches. That's something that can't happen because you plant that seed in his head, and now he's a little bit nervous out there when it comes. And you got to get over that as the guy catching the punts, because the first thing is to catch. But you can't run into your own. You have to have a little bit of an awareness and don't run into your guy. I mean, those are the little things that start creeping in.
Well, and it ends up leading to turnovers. But that's the thing that I hope doesn't turn into the defining characteristic of this year's team. And who knows what the defining characteristic is? It's 2 games in. We don't know. You can only go by what you just saw. And that is a mistake that leads to a change in possession. But think of some of the other plays that didn't lead to a change of possession on the play, but led to a drive stalling or just getting lucky, with consistent low snaps that Talon had trouble handling, a couple that looked like they were pretty close to hitting the ground. Jackson gets away with a fumble that was returned, pretty long, and it ends up you got a little bit lucky because his knee was just on a blade of grass before it fell out. You take the timing of where the sacks occurred on Green, all of them taking you or within the range of what you think might be Kyle Ramsey's field goal range, and those are sacks that you really just can't afford to take. It's those kind of things that I just hope is not the defining characteristic of this year's team. Last year, defining characteristic was you didn't have enough good players on the offensive line. You didn't have enough wide receivers that could get open. There wasn't enough room for your running backs to run through. And yes, I think leadership was an aspect of it as well. I don't, who knows about leadership 2 games in. I just look, these are the mistakes that you can fix, right? It's not a matter of having bad football players on the team. I don't think it's a matter of we're just not physical enough. They opened a lot of holes. They bottled up the potentially the best running back in the country and did it for just about the entire game until the last overtime. It feels like these are mistakes that you can fix. I don't know if you could have fixed what ailed last year's team.
Yeah, we have talent on this team. Armstrong was the best receiver on the field. Number 22 was the best running back on the field. I mean, we had talent. We just, you kind of beat yourselves. They called a little flea flicker play. Good timing on their part. Get a big chunk play. We just didn't make enough plays and kind of hurt ourselves. But if you're looking at it as the big picture, yeah, there's talent on this team. I mean, this team, no question, is better than last year's team. So you gotta have a little hope. We let one slip away. You don't get a lot of opportunities. You don't get a lot of chances where you're up 21-0 with the ball, having a guy drop one in the end zone to go up. You're not going to get a lot of chances like that this year. And so to have that chance and have it slip away, that's what stings. That's what hurts a little bit.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what hurts, is because how many listeners out there were celebrating going into halftime? I remember looking around in the radio booth at halftime. We're all looking at each other like, wow, that was amazing to see. At the same time, knowing you're playing a good team, they got a good coaching staff, they'll make some adjustments, and they'll make a run. You just didn't expect that they would make a run that was built on all of those Arkansas mistakes. So, again, defining characteristic of the team, we don't know what it's going to be. But you got to clean up these mistakes. And it's not just the turnovers. I think there's a few other things that go into this as well. Missed assignments, broken plays. You could probably, if you were looking at numbers of mistakes and you add the turnovers onto it along with a couple of missed kicks, there were double-digit mistakes that Oklahoma State took advantage of. So it's like you look at the turnovers, Matt, 10-0 on points off turnovers. If we just counted the mistakes, it's like almost all their points came off of mistakes. So
With the Chili Peppers have that song, Give It Away, that's what we did. We gave it away.
Yeah. I don't know if they didn't play that. They didn't play it. They didn't play that at Boone Pickens Stadium. Instead, they played Friends in Low Places going into the fourth quarter because of alumnus Garth Brooks. So maybe the next time they'll play Give It Away. That's exactly right. Halftime on this Monday will include Connor O'Gara joining us from Saturday Down South at about 1:15. Sam Pittman has his weekly Monday press conference, which usually is a lot of a preview of the upcoming opponent. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot more of a look back onto the game this past Saturday. Once that concludes, we'll visit with Pig Trail Nation's Mike Irwin, and in about an hour, we'll visit with Nate Olson from SB Live for a look into what happened over the weekend in high school football. But we've got a wide open first hour here on halftime, so that means it is your time to react anytime you want to get on over the next 50 minutes or so. 877-377-6963. We can take your calls. We'll get through your texts right after this quick break on halftime.
This is halftime.
I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, college at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot,
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Don't miss A Night of Hope, an evening with John Calipari, Tuesday, September 17th at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. The evening gets underway at 6:15 with a VIP meet and greet and cocktail party for premium sponsors. At 6:30, hear Razorbacks coach Cal with special guest Joe Klein. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are all available by logging on to teamlukehopeforminds.org. A Night of Hope, supporting children after brain injury, September 17th. Log on now, teamlukehopeforminds.org.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Did your 6 weeks with your kids this summer fly by? Is your ex on another tropical vacation while you're working 2 jobs to pay your child support? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Arkansas law on custody and child support has changed, and those changes could benefit you. So stop scrolling through her vacation pictures and protect your rights today. Call me at 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Your Honor, my son deserves this kid.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Should know the way you put your girl sideways. You're the kind of person leaves and making out once, love and leaving fast. Yes, I must be done. Pocket full of horses, Trojan summer views. Saturday night, if that makes you alright, you say whatever I got to lose. Baby, you're much too fast. You need love.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Seemed like there for a while, maybe 20 minutes of the third and fourth quarter, everything we did was not right. In other words, we was putting the ball on the ground, snaps, trick play, muff punt, missed field goal. Everything seemed like could go wrong, kind of went wrong there. And that span of time, I was really proud of the 2-minute drive at the end and Ramsey for kicking a field goal to get us into OT. It's the first OT game we've lost since I've been here. I felt like once we can get into OT, we would find a way to win, and we just didn't.
Sam Pittman, after Saturday's ball game, and think about a tight loss like this. This isn't like LSU last year. I don't think it's like Ole Miss last year. I don't think it's like Alabama last year. Those were games where the final score I don't really think was indicative of how much better the opponent really was. In this case, I feel it was the other way around. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just projecting this a little bit, Matt, but I think if Arkansas and this Oklahoma State team were to play 10 games, 5 on each other's field in the same season, I think Arkansas would come out with more wins than losses.
Yeah, I do. I like our roster. It's correctable mistakes. I guess that's the good thing. It's not we don't have an offensive line to block anybody. It's correctable mistakes. It's mistakes that we made that we can fix. Whether they be attitude, effort, being in shape, for whatever reason, the mistakes, a lot of them happen in the second half. So you wonder, are they in do they start to fade a little bit? When you start to fade, you kind of make bonehead plays, and that was it. It wasn't a lack of talent. I like our roster. I mean, Oklahoma State has a couple nice pieces. They had some players, but I like our quarterback better. I like our running back better. I like our wide receiver better. I like our tight end better, although number 40 at Oklahoma, they got a really good tight end that's a freshman that's going to be there for a couple more years.
877-377-6963 is our hotline phone number. Got a lot of text to get to, but first let's talk with Alan in Rogers. Alan, appreciate your call. How are you?
Hey, good, guys. It was a tough pill to swallow. But, there were mistakes in the game, but I feel there was a strategy mistake that really cost us the game, and that was not kicking the field goal with 4th and 5, because your chances of making that field goal are a lot better than making a 4th and 5. And, the field goal kicker missed the previous kick, but you can't ruin his confidence, and if we would make that kick, it changes the whole complexion of the game. Cecil called the morning show, and that's what he said, too, and I agree totally with him. We should have gone for the field goal in that situation. If he missed it, so be it, but his chances of making it were a lot better than making a 4th and 5. So, to me, that's where the game was probably lost in strategy. So, that's all I got to say.
That was your chance to get up by 11, if I remember correctly. You just missed a 41-yard field goal in the previous drive. I think this one would have been from 40 or maybe closer to 41 yards. All right, first thing, I don't think the kickers have any confidence at all. I don't think they have any confidence. I don't know what's going on in the spring or what happened over August as far as kicking is concerned. But it doesn't look like they have much confidence. And I'm talking about the kickers themselves and then the coaches, obviously, at the same time. Otherwise, I think you'd have put them in at that moment. Because part of this is I would feel if you miss a 41-yarder and the next drive, like 5 minutes later, you get a chance to do it again, I would expect you're able to knock that one right through. Obviously, Sam Pittman felt a little bit different about it. Otherwise, I think you would kick the field goal at that point because then you're up by 2 scores. So I guess that could have, I guess it would have made a little bit of sense. But, whether to kick the field goal or not, or whether to go for it on 4th down, I will say it is a hindsight 2020 thing. But I also remember when I was watching it, as I'm helping out Chuck with the spotting for the broadcast, I'm thinking, why are we not trying to kick the field goal here? I think that was pretty much what most people thought too.
It's
Yeah. They should have, because, like I say, it's at least 75% chance he's going to make it. The chances of making a 4th and 5 are probably not that high in that situation. So that's my feeling on it.
Alan, thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
It's you said hindsight's 2020. I thought our offense, our scheme was fine. The field goal kicker just misses one. I totally understand going for it. What were we, like 8 of 11 on 3rd down?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we weren't moving the ball. I mean, we did everything but win the game. Every category, we lost the turnover battle, but everything else, outrushed them, outplayed them, out-physicaled them. They made a couple big plays. I don't have any problem not kicking the field goal there because you don't have a little confidence in your kicker, but yeah, you do want to see your kicker go back out there and show some confidence in him and say, hey, man, we believe in you. Go ahead and make this.
And now it sounds like the job of field goal kicker is up for grabs.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always a competition, but I hate it for him. I know we missed a couple, but he also made the one put us into overtime. And if we played a little bit better, maybe that wouldn't have come up. You know, their kicker missed as well to put us in, I think, overtime too. So, but yeah, that competition's always up. Certainly is now.
11 third down conversions on 19 attempts, Matt. That's tough to see and know you lose the game when you held OSU to 5 out of 16 on third downs. And they converted some long ones too. So I think, going for it on 4th and 5, I think they converted like a 3rd and 10 and a 3rd and 12 a couple of times. So I in this case, I can see it both ways. 877-377-6963. Scott's up next. He's in Ozark. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good. Good morning, guys.
Morning. Thank you.
Basically, what I saw in watching this game was Arkansas whip them in the first half. And I don't know if we went to halftime satisfied, but, I mean, we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal. I mean, just tear them up. We can't be letting up, thinking we've got things won. We've seen it too many times. I don't know, the mistakes that we did make, they're easy things to shore up. I mean, you got to work on hanging on to the ball. Number one, no turnovers. And we got to get to their quarterback. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
It's a good point by Scott. There really wasn't a lot of pressure on Alan Bowman, unable to generate too much of that. There was a little pressure up the middle on Taylon Green. That was where the pick six came from. You got a push from the defensive line kind of into his face. Wobbly pass comes out, ends up going the other way about, 77 yards. And that's also where the sacks within field goal range came from, up the middle. There wasn't a lot of pressure on Bowman. I will say, though, man, the defensive line showed out for Arkansas in this ballgame. To be able to hold Oklahoma State, a running team, to 59 yards rushing, 2.3 per attempt, and that's without a sack, which will, lower the rushing numbers a little bit. I was really impressed with how that defensive line played. But I do wonder, like Mike Gundy mentioned this in the postgame, that I think the reason he felt that Oklahoma State won, aside from the mistakes that they took advantage of, was he said that he thought they were a better conditioned team. It wasn't, what was it, in the low 80s or something? It wasn't like it was all that hot. The defense wasn't out there for very long. I mean, OSU possessed the ball for just under 24 minutes. I mean, you had the ball 12 more minutes than they did. But you could see it too. And I think they were a little bit gassed in the second half. So, I don't know if there's much you can do about it now. I mean, you're already in the middle of the season. Your conditioning was happening in the summertime.
Well, you get a UAB team coming in. That's the thing. You get 10 more of them, so you got to put it behind you. You got to go learn from it. You got to move on, and you got to bounce back. You need to be 2-1 after these 3, because I'm telling you, Auburn, I like our chances there. A&M, you don't know what team you're going to get, but you know who's the real deal is Tennessee. I mean, when Tennessee comes into town, that's going to be another 2 shin trap game, man. That Tennessee is physical. They got a running back. Man, Tennessee looks scary, but we got to worry about UAB September 14th.
Yeah, you do. And they didn't look very good. They put up 6 points in their last game against ULM on Saturday. So I know they've had some good teams of late. I'm just not sure if this year is a very good team. But like you pointed out, you really know what you got 2 weeks in? Not necessarily. Auburn, they didn't even put up 300 yards of offense against Cal. So right now, I would circle that one coming up in 2 weeks on the Plains as must win. Really, that you got to win that game. You got to beat Mississippi State too, because that's a team that struggled badly against Arizona State and really isn't very good in Jeff Lebby's first year. So it's kind of odd to think about this too, Matt, because your best chances to win games, just judging by the opponents you're playing, are on the road. And usually they'll pick up 1 under Sam Pittman, but I think this year they're going to need 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, I like our quarterback. I think he's way more Brady Cook than he is Peyton Thorne. So I think that we can at least decide on that.
877-377-6963 if you want to hit on anything about Arkansas losing to Oklahoma State on Saturday. And we'll get through some more texts. If you call, we'll take your phone call as well. Halftime is right back after this break.
This is Halftime.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life. Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Try our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game is over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon.
95.3.
My friend offered me a drink for us to share, and that was all that I needed. Well, then I felt the ease. Oh, then I'm not too hard to breathe. I guess it couldn't come and greet it. And I was shocked to look up and see Rita Hayworth there in a place so sick. She walked into the bar with a long red curly hair, and that was all that I needed.
lost land. Good God, what a man, what a job to even see her.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, we'll go right to the phones. Double D has given us a call here, and it's 877-377-6963 as we react to Arkansas falling in a heartbreaker to Oklahoma State in double overtime. Double D, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Love your show. Here's my concern. Did y'all notice the scores down on PFF or something on our offensive line pass blocking? They were horrible. Our right tackle had a 14 score. So I'm concerned about when we get into SEC play, we're not going to be able to protect the passer, and that's really scary. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
There was some pressure on Green. Absolutely, there was some pressure on Green. That's independent of the 3 sacks that he took. I saw a lot of the pressure coming up the middle, and I mean, I'll be honest, Double D, I don't really look at the tables on PFF. But if the people who were paid to watch it said that he had a bad game, I don't know. I did see them running a lot over the left side of the offensive line. I think they might feel a little bit better on the left side, specifically at left tackle. I thought Amarion Harris played well, but we'll keep our eye on Blackstock. Appreciate your call, Double D. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to their quarterback 0 times. They got to us 3 times. I would say that they put a little more pressure on our quarterback. That's for sure. But early on, they put a little pressure, and Taylor Green would get out of the pocket. One time, he took off for 20-something yards, and then one time it was a zone. He hit homie right in the middle of the field for a first down, another third down. So it was working for us in the first half. The second half, I don't know if it was by design, but it didn't seem like like he wanted to use his legs as much anymore. And you kind of, that's one of the weapons. That's one of our positives is Taylor Green knowing when to run and when not to, but it seemed there was a couple opportunities in the second half, and he didn't take it.
104 yards, 18 carries. That was still he netted 61, but
he played great. It wasn't Taylor Green's fault.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy watching Taylor Green play.
I think our quarterback room is upgraded from last year, and I'm a KJ Jefferson fan, as you know. I think Taylor Green has a chance to play on Sundays. KJ's never gonna play on Sundays.
Here's Eduardo. Eduardo, what did you think about Saturday? Are you're always on the hog train? I know that, but what's your attitude after 2 games in?
Man, I tell you what, sir. On a serious note, I love this program. I said this morning. I don't know if you got to hear. I've been aboard the hog train since 1971. I've got to see all the coaches and all the teams play up to Coach Pittman and this current team, and I've never seen a team have so many self-inflicted wounds in the history of our program. Listen to these stats that are astonishing to me. And if anybody didn't get to the games, I don't want to go over the stats again. Almost 650 yards total offense. And you hold the best running back in the country, and most of his yards came late in the fourth quarter, to 49 yards. I believe if I'm correct, as a team, offensive team, you hold the Cowboys to about 2.3 yards a carry. I made some bold statements before the season started, and I didn't count on the turnovers. I said we would go to Stillwater and kick the rear ends, and we did in every category but the scoreboard. Listen here. Once again, special teams is waving the red flag. I mean, we cannot how many points did we give up, if I'm correct? 2 missed field goals, and then, the Isaiah, which wasn't his fault. Listen, on a punt return, this is coaching. If you're not blocking, get away from the football. And by our own player, we run into Isaiah, and they get points off that. You cannot win football games like that, and that's why you lost, basically. I'm going to say this. One play, that really perturbs me more than anything was the last play of the game. And you win or lose on this play. Up the middle with the littlest running back the smallest player on the team. When we got a 4-star, is he sick? A 4-star running back, 6'2", 250 pounds plus, and you don't even look at him. And then if you're going to do that up the middle, Bobby, you take some blame here, sir. No, everybody's held accountable because nobody's not held accountable in our program. And we can still go to a bowl this year, but you don't have to clean some things up. I want to say this, one emphasis this week, and I'm going to say this clearly as I can. I don't care who you are on the offensive side of the ball, including Taylor Green. You're missing receivers. You're throwing the football. You're sitting on the bench. Let me say this one more time. You cannot turn the football over. And anybody that does, wag the bench. And, Bobby, you better – listen, I'm really shocked at you, sir. I mean, you're one of the best play callers in the country. But, if you're going to go up the middle with the game on the line, why not go with your 6'11" quarterback? Let him stretch it out. He's 6'11", 240 pounds. More than likely he falls and gets the first down. Thank you for taking my call.
You're very welcome, Eduardo. It feels like he came really, really close to an FCC violation there, which would have been a first in Eduardo's long and highly decorated sports talk show calling career. But as far as I understood, Jackson's body was cramping up to the point where he needed an IV. That's at least what Pittman said in the postgame press conference. So that must have been why Hill was in there. I had to say, I think Hill can run. I think he's a hard runner. He's a tough runner.
What we messed up on is not getting Jackson a couple breathers early on.
Mm-hmm.
When he went out there like to start the fourth series, you're like, as a coach, you got to understand your players. You have to take him out. Jackson's not going to take himself out. You have to understand it's a 60-minute game. We want to give this guy who they cannot tackle. He's the best running back on the field. You got to give him a little breather as you go, and because then you get down to the end of the game, and he gave it everything he had. He's cramping up. He was giving it everything he had. And starters, he should have got an IV at halftime. If you're a running back getting 20+ touches, you get an IV at halftime.
In the fourth game of Jackson's career, he's had 20 carries or more. He carried 26.
He was the best player on the field.
I was impressed with the way he runs, really. I think there's speed, there's size. He's tough, and he can do something if he's going one-on-one against somebody. 24 carries, 120, and where was I here? 156 yards. And Armstrong showed out as well. I really think he and Taylor Green look like they've got a good thing together. But, man, this is a tough box score to look at. Outgaining them 648 to 385. Outrushing them 232 to 59. Arkansas more than doubled their per rush yardage. You had the ball for 12 more minutes. You converted 11 third downs. It's just, but you read this thing and then you got to do this with it. That's all it's good for. The box score literally means nothing about this. It's just the final score and it's the record. 1-1 should be 2-0. Steven from Natural Dam, thank you for the phone call. How you doing, Steven?
Doing well. It's hard to follow Eddie there.
That's why I try to go on a little bit. I try to do like 2 minutes so that you would feel like you weren't batting right after him.
Right, it's like following a grand slam in baseball. I just wanted to say I didn't get to watch the whole game because I had to work Saturday, but for me, man, it's hard to see Arkansas, killing it in that first half, and then typical fashion, squander it in the second half, typical Arkansas fashion. I just wish we played full 4 quarters because that leads to potentially losing them the head coach at the end of the season if we can't do better than 4-8 again. And I like what I'm seeing so far, offensively and with Travis Williams on defense. I'd like to have some continuity at the coaching job so that way we can build on this year and really dominate next year. I don't know what y'all think about that, but I'll be quiet and listen. Thank you.
Thank you. I love our defense. I think one of the biggest L's we took was Hudson Henry or Hudson Clark?
Yeah, had to go out.
Man, that was a big loss for us because he's such a heady player. He knows how to line everybody up. He had made that pass deflection on third down. He came back around and stuck his head in there and necessarily you didn't have to right there. The guy was going to get tackled, but having that collision of two people come at you, you knew right away. And 15 years ago, Phil, that kid, he would have been out there playing again. It's the way now it is with the concussion protocol. They had to take him out, but I thought that was kind of a loss for the defense as well.
I think this is an interesting piece of information. It's on PFF. Jackson Fuller, who covers Razorback Athletics for the Southwest Times, pointed this out. They had only 17 players take snaps defensively on Saturday. Last year, they never played any fewer than 21 on defense. And depth was a word we kept hearing. I think there is more depth. We just didn't necessarily see numbers-wise that, because you had your starters do a lot of the heavy lifting. And I thought they played well. They really did. There was there were some penalties that also came in pretty big, especially in Oklahoma State's last drive, couple of pass interferences on Danico Slaughter. I mean, sometimes those can go either way. You had it wasn't unsportsmanlike. It was an unnecessary roughness on Xavier Sori that set them up in the second overtime to get Ollie Gordon his chance to run it in from 12 yards out. And I guess they had to make that call. Legs were still moving and everything, and Sori picks him up and slams him down. I think he was just trying to make a tackle, but it felt like your biggest mistakes defensively might have been those penalties. Those were a lot of yards from those penalties. Jim in Hot Springs is next up. Hey, Jim, thanks for calling. How you doing?
I'm doing good, all right. I think the Arkansas Razorbacks are going to have a solid season. I saw a lot of positive things from the Razorbacks in that game despite their loss. I think Ollie Gordon may be a little overrated, honestly. I mean, personally, he only had 101 yards for like 25 carries against a team they previously played before. I don't think they're going to be able to do that good at doing whatever they're doing. But I think the Arkansas Razorbacks had a lot of positives. They are a lot more talented team than last year, and that Taylon Green has a lot more natural talented than KJ Jefferson.
I think that's legitimate, Jim. Yes, I think so. And look, another thing about Ollie Gordon, he's probably going to be one of the first running backs picked in the draft this next year. Look, I mean, the rest of the season, I don't know if they're playing against a defense that will be able to bottle them up the same way that Arkansas did. K-State, Utah, that'll be their toughest games, and that's coming up in 2 to 3 weeks. They'll run against Baylor. They'll run against Arizona State. They'll run against TCU, Texas Tech. They certainly will against Colorado. So, I don't know. I guess I'd be surprised if this is kind of telling of the sort of season that Ollie Gordon's about to have. Doak Walker winner, did he look like it on Saturday? No. Arkansas's defense is the biggest reason why. 877-377-6963 anytime you want to get with us. Matt, fumbles are fixable, right? I mean, this is the kind of thing that you can fix. We had Seed Movie watch the program once, and they had Omar Epps carry the ball around school all day long because he had an issue fumbling. This is something that can be fixed. Low snaps from the center, that can be fixed. These things don't have to hang around even for another week.
Well, the low snap right there reminds me of something you talk about with pitchers when they have to go to the stretch and it's a stressful situation. That low snap when you're moving the pocket or you're running a counter, you're getting out of the way. So sometimes your foot, as far as your step with the sender, he's stepping the other way or he's getting ahead of himself. And so that's just something that he hasn't practiced in that scenario, because when you're doing that in practice, it's not as intense. You don't have to reach up your block. You're not going as fast. And so that was one of those things that, you saw that happen with, what was that, Alabama's center last year in the playoffs, right? Like it's something that they got to work on. And when you get in that situation, when you're trying to get to your block, it's tough, but you got to the old adage is you got to get the snap first. You got to get the snap to the quarterback first before you do anything. And it's same thing with the toss sweep to the running back. He just looks his eyes up. He's looking to do so. You got to catch the ball first, got to secure the ball first. We've done it. I've done it. You fumble the ball, man, you feel this big. It's not a good feeling because you let your teammates down. That's for sure. but you got to get back and work on it, and it's very correctable mistakes.
NFL Monday Night Football kickoff tonight. Jets and 49ers, 7:15. We'll have it right here on ESPN Arkansas. And, of course, you want to be over at Twin Peaks and Rogers to watch Monday Night Football or anything that's going on the television, because that is your sports headquarters. Twin Peaks and Rogers features 29-degree draft beer made from scratch fan favorites and sports blasting from absolutely every single angle. You get the ultimate game day experience at Twin Peaks or your online, Twin Peaks favorites to go online at twinpeaksrestaurant.com. More TVs, bigger screens, and scenic views. More to watch at Twin Peaks. Quick break and back to wrap up hour number 1 of Halftime after this.
This is Halftime.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Don't miss A Night of Hope, an evening with John Calipari, Tuesday, September 17th at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. The evening gets underway at 6:15 with a VIP meet and greet and cocktail party for premium sponsors. At 6:30, hear Razorbacks coach Cal with special guest Joe Klein. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are all available by logging on to teamlukehopeforminds.org. A Night of Hope, supporting children after brain injury, September 17th. Log on now, teamlukehopeforminds.org.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
People love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Hey, Hawk fans, it's Ty with the Morning Rush. Join me this Saturday, September 14th, from 10 a.m. till noon at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville for Arkansas Game Day. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt at the Stadium Shop will have a buy one regular price clothing item, get one equal or lesser value, half off. The Stadium Shop on Razorback has the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. It does not get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Arkansas Game Day live at the Stadium Shop on Razorback this Saturday from 10 a.m. till noon.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
needs a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who'll tease us better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Let's get on the horn here and get a phone call from Brian. I'm assuming this is Brian, the Texas fan, who says he lives in Ozark. He's got something to celebrate. Dominant win over Michigan. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well. You guys, I know y'all are disappointed and upset. You know, I mean, it's kind of what I expected. I thought it would be worse. I'm glad it wasn't for Arkansas, but yeah, you know, Texas is the real deal, and I am excited. They proved they are the legit team of the country. I believe they'll beat Georgia. Anyways, I've already said that. Hey, so here's what I saw. You know, Oklahoma State, when they got down 21-7, they were not worried at all. They weren't scared. They've been that way with Texas many years, and they come back, and I watched them beat Texas under Mike Gundy. In the same scenario, Oklahoma State knows how to win. They don't get excited. Arkansas is not there. You know, I don't believe that Arkansas has the winning mentality yet. I'm not saying they won't. They got a good quarterback. I just think that Oklahoma State figures out a way to win under Mike Gundy, and that's why he's always got 9-10 wins every year. I don't know what's up with Arkansas. They've got some things to figure out, and maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I mean, I'd like to say they will. I mean, when I think of what you need out of a football team, you got to be tough, you got to be strong, you got to be fast, you got to be deep. I thought I saw chunks of that on Saturday. But you also have to know how to win a game. You know, that to me, that's also been a bit of a defining characteristic of the last couple of years, is a couple of plays here and there that end up making the difference in a win by 3 points or a loss by 3 points, a win by 7, a loss by 7, 2-10 in the last 12 games decided by a single score. You're going back to the A&M game in 2022 for that stretch of games. And, I mean, that is it's not it isn't a fluke is what I'm saying. So you got to find a way to turn that around. Winning mentality. I think he might have hit it on the head there.
Yeah, I thought USC, when their victory over LSU in week 1, I thought that was the best victory. I think Texas going into the big house in that environment, I thought that was the best victory of the weekend.
We move into hour number 2 of halftime. We'll start to get into our guests at about 12:15. Nate Olson from SB Live recapping high school games from Friday. And it'll be Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation whenever Sam Pittman is completed with his Monday press conference. So we get into the second hour of halftime right after this.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nuys work to give all of their patients a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5501 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farm. Now offering same-day crowns. 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Did you know that almost 80% of all advertising is spent on digital? This is Dale Daniels, Digital Sales Manager for ESPN Arkansas, and due to the growth in digital advertising, we have the opportunity for the right person to join our team. Digital and radio advertising go hand in hand, and we're looking for someone to help businesses grow with this powerful combination. If you have experience in broadcast and digital marketing or business development, we want to hear from you. Email your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will climb into the lower 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 50s. On Tuesday, right back to sunshine. Our high in the mid to upper 80s. And then Wednesday, mixed with clouds and sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios.
Streaming on hitthatline.com. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
For one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on Halftime. We roll into your 12 o'clock hour on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson with Matt Jones. Christian Johnston is producing the show. We got a lot of guests coming up over the next, not over the next 45 minutes. Once we get to about 12:15, it'll be guest time for hour 2. Nate Olson, SB Live, high school football, and Mike Irwin, Pig Trail Nation. Coach Pittman's weekly Monday presser should be underway right about now, so we'll get Mike whenever that is concluded. We did have one SEC game over the weekend where South Carolina, I mean, this comes off as a big surprise, maybe because of the difference in final score than anything else, 31-6, blowing out Kentucky. This was after South Carolina looked pretty pedestrian against Old Dominion, but a completely dominant performance, and now Carolina gets game day for the first time in 10 years this weekend when they host LSU. So I remember thinking, so boy, if Arkansas can hold on to this game against Oklahoma State, you're going to beat UAB, should beat Auburn, and then if you were able to find a way to beat A&M, you go 5-0, you host Tennessee the next week, you would have had game day in Fayetteville. Not to say it can't happen now, but it would have happened then.
Yeah, you would have. Big win for the Gamecocks. Kentucky, I think that was the writing on the wall when their coach, flirted with A&M and then came out talking about, just as venting or whatever he's doing. You know, there was no reason for what he said, and he came out. Kentucky doesn't look like a team that's together. That I think they'll be one of the teams. They'll struggle to have 2 conference wins this year. I don't know if they get to play Mississippi State and Vandy as well, and I guess you got to count Vandy if you get to play them. Arkansas doesn't get to play Vanderbilt a lot. That's
too bad,
weird.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but Kentucky's not a good football team this year.
Kentucky does get Vandy this year, but you know what they get next week? They get Georgia. Have fun.
Georgia's still Georgia. I think Texas, I know that the rankings don't matter to about week 8. And say what you want about Texas. That's the best win of the season going into Michigan in that environment, hostility, and the way they played. I think you might be looking at 1 and 2 right there. You know, I think Ohio State's up there, but I think clearly that Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, those are the 3 best teams in college football right now.
877-377-6963 as we get into the second hour of halftime. Charlie's here. Afternoon, Charlie. How you doing, man? You all right?
Oh man, Phil, I'm actually okay. I've had enough frustration.
Sounds like it took a while to get there, though, my friend.
Oh man, you know what Saturday did to me, Phil? That second half took me on more of an emotional roller coaster than I could ever imagine in a football game. You know, we've had, the first half, like you guys have said, I've heard some of the show, but I thought they played really well. I mean, to go in at the half, the score was 21-6 at the half, right? And you feel good. I mean, the pick six. I mean, the thing about that play, I thought that was more of a great play by Oklahoma State. You know, you wish the thing is though, Matt, you talked about the play before. Roden's got to make that catch, and so it's like I don't know what it is with this team. They get in their own way. Now this is a new team.
That's what I was going to say. Like
yeah,
we can't. It's like I'm looking back at 2-10 in the last 12 one-score games, but
this is a new.
This
year,
is the point I've been trying to make all summer. We can't look to last year. It's a whole different team. It's a completely different coaching staff on the offensive side. It's just, I mean, you do keep track of these things. So it was a defining characteristic of last year's team. Heck, it was the year before too. You can't have it happen 3 years in a row, even with a different group of players.
Well, I will say this too, Phil. The difference in this year's team so far, it's just been 2 games. They physically, at the line of scrimmage, handled themselves well, I thought. Other than maybe a few things here and there. They could run the football. But here's a question that I have that I'm a little bit worried about. And Todd brought it up. I'm just being real. Right now, do we have enough of a pass rush on this team? And I'm just being real. I'm not knocking Landon Jackson. I know he's getting chipped and doubled, but do we have enough of a rush on this team? Because I know Oklahoma State's O-line was really good. That might be one of the best O-lines that we see. But at least they were able to make a few plays that altered the outcome of this game, and I thought we protected well for the most part. Taylor Green, I thought, played well. He gave us a chance. He missed a throw here and there. That happens. Nobody's perfect. But it just comes back to me, Matt. I want to ask you about this too. When we got the ball with 59 seconds left, explain to me in your head, because I know you know this game as well as anybody. I don't understand why it looked like we were so confused in that situation. Now, we tied the game and sent it to overtime, but it looked like that whole operation was just a mess. And the gunner that got pushed back into Satania twice, how does that not get fixed? And then it happened again. We got away with it the first time. Yeah. That's what I don't understand, Phil and Matt. I think this team's going to be fine. But I'm just frustrated by those things that we, obviously snapping the ball too. Got to fix it. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
The deal with the gunner getting into Satania's feet a couple of times, that has to be fixed immediately. That is the way you lose a football game that you should win. I watched Western Michigan a couple of weeks ago go up against Wisconsin, and it wasn't that different of a situation. They had just taken the lead with a touchdown, force a punt, and on that punt, it bounces in front of the returner. I don't think he verbally or even with his hands was trying to motion to the guys to get out of the way. Bounces off one of the one of their shoulders. Wisconsin pounces on it. Turned out to be their biggest offensive play of the game. Scored a touchdown a few plays later, win it. They got away with it once. Second time, not so much. Now, some folks are like, well, hold on a moment. The gunner got blocked into Satania, and that's not supposed to happen. But if they let it happen one time, maybe they may end up letting it happen a second time. I don't know if it was necessarily like a block or something, but also, I mean, these guys know how to sort of nudge somebody so that they fall down to the proper place.
Yeah, we have some things we need to clean up. That's for sure. We won on every category just about except for the scoreboard. I like our D-backs. I'll tell you that. Our linebackers and D-backs, I love how they compete. I love how they tackle. I love their physicality. So our back end, I was liking what I was seeing there. Our pass rush, man, it's tough. They don't grow on trees, pass rushers. Landon Jackson's not a pass rusher. That's not his thing. He's a two-way player, run stopper. He can get to the quarterback, but that's not his thing. This is not what he is. He's our best guy, but he's a two-way. He's a two-way guy. He's going to play on Sundays, no question about it. Do we have somebody who can whoop a man, but take one-on-one, you whoop somebody and get to the quarterback? I don't know that he's there. At least I didn't see it. I didn't see it this Saturday.
48 pass attempts for OSU, Matt.
You got to get at least 3 times to him. If they're going to throw it 48 times on you, you got to have at least 2 sacks. I mean, that's
not only no sacks, but no hurries.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they weren't really within earshot of him very often. Grand Lake Mike will take us into the break. Hey, Grand Lake Mike, thanks for calling. How are you?
Well, I'm well. So I'm going to give all the Arkansas fans something to really cheer up and be thankful for, okay? Because I'm a diehard OU fan. But after watching both games Saturday, Arkansas's needle is pointing skyward. OU's offense is horrible. Arkansas is going to have a lot more success in the SEC this year than OU will, unless they fix a lot of problems, and there's not enough time in the day to do that. But I watched the Arkansas game every minute. I was rooting for Arkansas. They should have won the game, could have, should have, would have. You know, they outplayed them every category. I was really impressed with the physicality of it, and so they've got nothing to hang their heads down about. They'll be very competitive, I think, with any SEC team that they throw at them. Unlike my Sooners, it's going to be a long year. But anyway, thanks for the call. Bye.
Thank you very much, Grand Lake Mike. Hey, Matt, we got a text in here from Eddie and Amity. You pointed out when he declared for the draft that Arkansas just lost their best offensive player when Cam Little announced for the draft, earlier in the year. And then there was Jake Bates. You realize that guys who were on the Arkansas team last year were 3 for 3 in the NFL yesterday, kicking field goals. Hey, this team, I think, has gotten a lot better. But you know where they haven't gotten better? You know where it looks like they might have gotten a lot worse? Is place kicker. Yes. And that's something that ends up winning or losing close games for you, right?
Special teams is 10% of the game. You had a turnover on a punt, then you missed a field goal you're supposed to make. So, yeah, that's those little things that as a football player, either offenses or defensive, you're not really relying. You want to play the game, not rely. It's almost icing on the cake or the cherry on top of the sundae to have a kicker. But they're more detrimental when you mess up. They're just the common things. You got to be able to catch the punts. You got to get out of the way if you're a gunner. 45 yards and in. It's a new age. That kid, 45 yards and in without it's all in between the ears. It's the Chuck Knobloch. It's shooting free throws. It's all in between. That kid would make 9 out of 10, probably 98 out of 100, 45 yards and in. Like he would just make them all day. You put him in the presser situation, he starts stinking a little bit for whatever reason. He doesn't have it yet. Maybe he can bounce back. But kickers, it's a lot of it. The talent's there. It's just in between the ears.
Well, there's going to be a lot of questions, I think, today for Coach Pittman about the kicking game. Don't miss A Night of Hope. It's an evening with John Calipari, Tuesday, September 17th at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. The evening is going to get underway at 6:15. VIP meet and greet and cocktail party for premier sponsors. 6:30, you get to hear from Coach Cal. He'll have Joe Klein on hand as well. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are all available right now at teamlukehopeforminds.org. That's teamlukehopeforminds.org. It's a night of hope supporting children after brain injuries, September 17th. Log on now to teamlukehopeforminds.org. Nate Olson from SB Live stops by. He'll recap some of the high school football action from Friday, right after this.
This is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh? Oh, it looks good on you, though.
This is halftime.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Try our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game is over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Try our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game is over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here.
Hey, Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swart Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swart Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swart Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swart Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Thanks for watching it. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, we'll take a little bit off from talking about Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Might feel good for a minute to do that. And instead, we'll go to our hotline where Nate Olson from Scorebook Live, SB Live, is joining us, part of the Sports Illustrated Network. It is SB Live, right, Nate? And we're not going to go the scorebook direction anymore. I got to get these things right. Can't hear him, though.
Yeah.
There we go.
SB Live, and then high school and SI. The SI network's a good way to put it. Absolutely. We, as we talked about before, we provide the high school coverage for Sports Illustrated SI. So accurate on all accounts.
Very good. All right, so I guess we should start where Matt and I were doing last Thursday's show, which was in Mountain Home. I know the Bombers were expected to pick up a win against arch rival Harrison, and they pulled it off too. How'd they do it, Nate?
Well, it's their second straight win in the series. There's a lot of good rivalries that, you know, we know about some of the obvious ones, the Salt Bowl and Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springdale, Fayetteville was an old good one, but this is a good historic one. And Steve Airy is maybe one of the better football coaches that you haven't heard of. You know, in Mountain Home, they obviously heard of him, but around the state, you know, Hall of Fame Missouri coach, came to Mountain Home, and what they do very well right now are win a lot of these non-conference games and, you know, games that they should win. And, you know, that's how you build a program, because that wasn't always being done before he got there. So winning some of these non-conference games against 5A schools and then winning playoff games. They've won several first-round playoff games. You know, the next step is to be more of a player in the conference and to make a deeper run. But it's steps, it's building blocks. But Friday night, very jubilant, and they had a good performance by their quarterback, Brantley Phillips. He got him going right off the bat on a short run, and had a couple of touchdown passes too, I believe. They were up 14-0 right off the bat, and were able to hold on to win that game 30-14. Good rivalry win for them. It just it gives you more momentum going in. You know, they play Rolla this week coming up, Rolla, Missouri. Going 3-0 in the non-conference would be great for them, and they just know that they play in a very tough conference. With Greenwood in that 6A West, it's gotten tougher with Shiloh Christian, and you got to take it week by week. You're going to take some lumps, but they've done a good job of taking care of business in non-conference and then winning some games in the league that they need to, and then getting in the playoffs. And another good win for them on Friday night.
Tell me about Conway blowing out Bentonville. Is this indicative of the kind of season Bentonville's about to have? Conway as good as they appear?
Those are all good questions and things that came to my mind when I saw those scores. Well, of course, there's a lot of season left, and, you know, we have seen these games before. This is the fourth straight win for Conway in the series, but we have seen these early season games, and then we come back around. Bentonville got much better as the year went on last year, and this is a young team, so an inexperienced team rather, maybe not as young, but some guys that are juniors and seniors that are still trying to fill in. A good sign for them last week was going to Union over in Tulsa. I think On3 had them ranked 13th in the country, Union, and Bentonville fell behind, got back in the game, put it into overtime, lost in overtime. So you saw that score, some of the highlights, you think, okay, they're going to come over to Conway and really give Conway a game. And it was a little bit, I wanted to see how Grayson Wilson's going to do against a 7A defense. And the answer was he was brilliant. He threw for 328 yards, 4 touchdowns, he had 1 pick, 19-26. So in 3 starts now, benefit game, a non-conference game against Jonesboro, and now this game, he's been really, really good. You kind of wondered moving from 4A to 7A, how's that going to be? So he played a 5A team in the benefit in Morrilton, a 6A team in Jonesboro. Now he's played a legitimate team in Bentonville. But I'm not giving up on Bentonville. And, Jody Grant's a great coach. They got a little bit out of hand. But I think, they play them again later. It could be much closer. I still like that game in October with Fayetteville to be for the conference championship. And everything that they want is in front of them. I was talking earlier on our podcast today that these games are great. These in-class non-conference games, because it's kind of like when Michigan plays Texas and some of these big clashes in college football. You see these heavyweight teams playing each other. Carlisle played Junction City in the 2A ranks. That's big. We covered that game this week on the site. And so I like it that coaches will play. Buck James made a comment about that you could play lesser teams. He has a lot of respect for Bentonville that they'll agree to play this, and it's good for both teams. I think it makes you better in your league. Nobody got a playoff bid on Friday night. Nobody's season ended. It's good competition, and you take it. If you win it, you're happy. If you lose it, you take it with a grain of salt, and you go back to the tape and you watch what you need to do to get better. And as the conference season is looming in a couple of weeks, but I think the biggest takeaway on this whole game for Conway and for Razorback fans is that Grayson Wilson looks really good. And I just kind of wondered about moving from 4A to 7A. That doesn't mean he's not going to have a game where he throws 2 or 3 picks. He plays Bryan at the end of the year. That's going to be a huge test, but he's got the whole season to get acclimated before they play that game. So hurdle number 1 for Grayson Wilson, he jumped over it well.
Hey, Nate, we had a game on Saturday with Arkansas and Oklahoma State, 2 dynamite running backs, Shaquindon Jackson and Ollie Gordon. Who's the best running back right now in the state? Is it the kid out of Little Rock Christian? Is it the kid out of Bryant? Is there an SEC running back in the state this year?
There's some good ones. Daniel Anderson out of Bryant is a Notre Dame commit.
Oh, nice.
The problem with him is that I still don't know that he's 100% healthy. He missed a lot of last season. He ran with more explosion on Friday night. And they picked up a huge win over Christian Brothers College in St. Louis. 5.5 hours on a bus. And then stormed out to a 21-0 lead, led 28-0 in the second. And I think he had a couple touchdowns. So they saw something in him after his sophomore year at camp, and then a couple other schools, Tennessee and others, offered, but not a lot of on-field resume for him. Trying to get that this year, and Notre Dame, I think they feel committed to him. But when I've seen him so far this year, still looking for a little bit of that explosion. Bryant's got 3 good running backs and a guy named Myron Thrash that's going to OBU. The first couple weeks of the season, maybe running with a little more purpose than Daniel. I think Daniel's kind of getting in the groove. You've got Montario Elston at Little Rock Parkview and Cam Settles. And Cam's going to Arkansas. Elston so far is kind of, taking the ball and run with it figuratively. No pun intended, literally and figuratively. He's had good games back-to-back weeks now, and he can line up in the slot. He can line up in the backfield. He's going to Kansas State. So, yeah, there's maybe not a Braylon Russell this year, but there's some good running backs. And Settles, I think, is going to be good for Arkansas. The thing I like about him is he really wants to be a Hog. And you know firsthand, you wanted to do that. You played with a bunch of guys with Houston Nutt that cared about that. wants this program to be better. He's going to have some good games here in high school. There's a lot of guys that can carry that ball for Parkview, and not enough balls for everybody. So it's kind of like, on a basketball game, you got a couple of different guys that can shoot it. You go with whoever's got the hot hand. And Elston has been that guy the first 2 weeks. But people are going to kind of target him. That's going to open it up for Settles. Quentin Murphy, their quarterback, had a big night throwing the ball against Maumelle too. And Quentin is going to Arkansas. He is going to be an athlete there. Probably a receiver or defensive back, return man guy. But a lot of talent on that Parkview ball club.
Hey, Nate, tell me about Connor Lentz. Seemed like he ran all over Ozark as Boonville wins 31-14. How good is Connor Lentz?
He's a good player. He's subbing in or not subbing in, but he's taken over for Dax Goff, who he went on to Harding and was a super player. But yeah, Lentz is good. At Boonville, they plug guys in that offense, that run-oriented offense, and they always have a decent line, sometimes undersized, and a quarterback that can manage the game. Jace Washburn is even a little more than a game manager this year. And then, Lentz, like you said, he's getting the lion's share of the carries. And they do dominate that series with Ozark, but I thought that might be a closer game. And because Ozark's got Kobe Wilbanks, who's a fantastic quarterback that's played receiver. We've talked about him before, but the series is 56-27 and 4 in favor of Boonville. So they've kind of owned that series, and they win again. And they are a really good football team. You kind of wondered after losing Goff and some other players, how good they're going to be. But they look like a state championship team again. And we kind of thought that, but seeing the first couple weeks of the season, beating Poto, who's a power in Oklahoma, winning this game handily, it's a good day, good time to be a Boonville Bearcat. I mean, that's always they're good, but definitely have another shot to win it again.
Nate, last thing, give me one game that's on your radar this weekend. If you're going to go to one game, what's it going to be?
Well, it's going to be Bryant at Parkview, and I'm going to it. If you're talking about around the state, this is a game that people have circled on both sides since last year. Bryant irritated that they lost their 54-game winning streak, and kind of irritated that a lot of people poked fun at them for losing to a 5A program. This is not your normal 5A school, and but they took a lot of heat for it, and they were able to get to the semifinals under Quad Sanders. They want to win this game. They want to win a state championship, and they played really good last week in Missouri. If they play like that again, they have the personnel and the depth to play with Parkview. But Parkview has got at least 7 Division I players. The speed I just talked about on offense, those ball carriers. It's imperative that Bryant contains Murphy, makes him pass the ball, even though he did throw for over 200 yards. But and keep him in the pocket because he's very dangerous. If you're in the Central Arkansas area and you're not a fan of either of these teams, it would be a good night for you to go to a game. It's going to be good weather. It's going to be at War Memorial Stadium. You're going to see athletes all over the field. This is going to be a big-time Arkansas high school football game, and there isn't anything at stake other than bragging rights and the number one ranking. And Bryant would like to have that back. They had that for several years, and now Parkview is the high school and SI number one ranked team. I think there's a lot of things that the Bryant kids, want and from this game, and I think it bugged them to lose, even though it didn't affect. You still had a chance to play for a state title. They went to the semifinals. I think this game is sat in their craw for a while. So, and Parkview'd like to win 2 in a row, and they want to leave no doubt that they're the best team in the state, and they're hearing a lot of talk in Greenwood about Greenwood people think they could beat them. So they want to send a message to everybody by beating Bryant that they're a legit number one team.
Nate, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate you hopping on with us. Enjoy the football on Friday, and we'll visit again in a week.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nate.
Nate Olson, SB Live, part of the SI Network. I've gotten all those things right. Very good. All right, it looks like Sam Pittman is still speaking on his Monday presser. We're going to be talking with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation whenever the Razorback head coach is finished. So you can get on with us in the next segment if you like. 877-377-6963, and halftime returns right after this.
Got a 911 with a quadraphonic Blaupause. Don't need a quadraphonic Blaupause. What you need is a curveball.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BREAK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BREAK to 321-321. That's BREAK to 321-321.
This is Halftime.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Hey, Wes.
Billy, P is for horses.
I have an idea to bring in more customers.
What you got?
We yell on the radio, woo, pig suey.
We're going to call the hogs?
Yeah, we call them all in. Woo, pig suey. Come get your pizza at Jim's Razorback Pizza.
I'd rather not.
Don't you love the hogs?
Of course, but we can't call our customers hogs.
But they're hog fans, and our name is Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Billy, I love your enthusiasm. Look it, if you think we should do it, then let's do it.
Woo, pig suey.
What about moo instead of woo? We use Wisconsin cheese.
Really? You and them dang cows. Woo, pig suey.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
When she walks, she swings her arms instead of her hips. When she talks, she moves her mouth instead of her lips. I waited for her for so long. I've waited for her for so long. I wonder if I could hang on. I wonder if I could hang on.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, Sam Pittman has concluded his Monday presser. So we'll bring on Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation for a little recap of that, see what he thinks of this lost Oklahoma State in the future. Mike, hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well, man, doing well. So first, let's get your thoughts on the game on Saturday. You just don't see a lot of games where you possess the ball for more than 12 minutes, then the opponent, you outgain them by, gosh, it's not that far from a 2-1 margin. It's a lot. If you're looking at the box score independent of the final score, you would be convinced that Arkansas won the football game. Just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense unless you understand those 3 turnovers were like, each one of them was like a dagger. I'm not sure I've ever seen a game in which you have those 3 turnovers and have such an impact on the game, and that's got all the fans mad. And I don't have any issue with that. I do have an issue with a lot of these fans saying, well, that Oklahoma State's not really that good anyway, and you should have beat them even if you had turnovers, and they're saying all kinds of crazy stuff. Sam Pittman addressed some of these issues in his press conference today, started talking about the kicker, and there's been a kicking battle between these 2 transfers, and he said in the past he thinks it's a case of nerves. They kicked fine before they got here, and I guess they're kicking okay in practice, but when you get in the game, it's like changes them. And he said, I agree that it's pretty hard. If somebody has that issue, it's pretty hard to simulate in practice what they're going to face in a game, especially. I think it probably hurt that everybody liked the fact that Arkansas had 10 offensive touchdowns in 10 possessions, against UAPB, but you did not put your kicker in any position to kick field goals. And I think maybe that would have helped if he'd kicked a few the first week. All they can do, I guess, is go back to the drawing board and try and figure out a way in practice to put pressure on these guys. I know in the Stone Ages when I played, if we had a kicker that had a problem, coaches would periodically stop practice, line everybody up, have the kicker kick a field goal. If he missed, they'd make all of us run, and everybody gets mad at the kicker. And then we'd go back and practice some more, and then he'd do it over again. They just kept exposing the guy over and over again to a pressure situation. So I assume Pittman has ways of putting pressure on him like that, but that's, to me, the answer to that situation. And guys, in every respect, I think this team is better than it was a year ago, except, obviously, at kicker. And that's going to be a problem down the road. Somebody told me last night, and I agree with it, they're going to lose at least one more game down the road if they don't solve this kicking problem. So there's that. He addressed this fumbled punt by Satania, and I have defended Pittman on that. I don't know how you can blame him for that. I mean, you've got a solid guy back there catching punts that doesn't have a history of dropping the ball. But people have pointed out, well, he had Arkansas's own players around him, and on the drop punt, somebody was down at his feet and kind of impacted him a little bit. And he said today that Satania himself has to do a better job of verbally letting the players around him know that he's signaling fair catch. They can't always see his hand up, so he's got to yell it out. So that was interesting. One of the other issues that I noticed, guys, was that while they did a great job of stopping Oklahoma State's running game, they didn't get much of a pass rush. And he addressed that a little bit, saying that Landon Jackson is getting double-teamed and chipped. and that's kind of taking him out of the equation. So they're going to have to figure out a solution to that, because if other teams look at the video and see how successful that is, they're going to do it too. And then the other thing, guys, that I remember was it was actually the play that ended the game when you're in a second overtime and you got a 4th and 1, you got to make a 4th down, and Rodney Hill gets the ball. He's your smallest running back. Where was Braylon Russell? And I can only conclude that they just didn't feel like he had enough experience to be put in that situation. But Pittman did today say he's got to get in the game early this week. And I mean, it's a good game to put him in, because it's, you're at home. You're not going up against a tough Power 4 team or whatever. So I expect we'll see more of him. On the problems that Taylen Green had kind of with the snap, a lot of people, as I was watching that game and reading the internet, they were blaming it on him. They said he wasn't focused. He was looking ahead of himself and not really securing the ball. Pittman basically said the snaps came out too low and too hard. The snapper has to understand that he's snapping to a 6'7" quarterback, not somebody 6'2". So I guess they'll address that. So those are all the things that he talked about in terms of making corrections so that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, we kind of beat ourselves, and that's what everybody's saying, and we saw it. And people that don't think Oklahoma State's a real football team, that is a real football team. They got some real talent on their team. On our side of the ball, just speaking with Arkansas, and you brought it up a little bit, getting a pass rush, they had 48 pass attempts, and we couldn't get to the quarterback. That being said, I loved how our D-backs flew around. I love how our D-backs tackled. There's a lot of good to take from this game. It just stinks that we took an L.
Yeah, and once again, you're giving fodder to those people that want to repeat the same talking points over and over again. And one of them is Sam Pittman can't win one-possession games, and I think that's an oversimplistic explanation of things. I think you can't just make a general statement. You have to look back and say, okay, why did you lose this one-possession game? Why did you lose that game? This game wasn't lost the way those others were, especially last year. Last year, they tended to have no offense late in the game. Even in and I remember going all the way back to Pittman's second year, they were saying, oh, he gets a lead and he sits on it. They shut things down. They get more conservative. Well, what happened in this game is that I just think, for one thing, Oklahoma State made some really good adjustments. I think they went in the locker room and saw what Arkansas was doing. I think they were moving in the running game. I think he was heading toward a hole in front of him and then cut to the weak side, and there was no coverage out there. Well, they covered it up in the second half, so it took some of that away. But I still feel like when you look overall at this team, Arkansas is second in the nation in total offense right now, second in passing. That's in the nation. Everybody talks about, well, they didn't score enough. Well, they're ninth in scoring nationally. And, Green is 11th in passing. Jackson's 13th in rushing. You didn't have those stats last year. So that is something to be encouraged about. They've just got to eliminate the turnovers.
Did he mention? I'm sorry, Phil. Did he mention anything about 17, our D-back that had the concussion? Is he okay? Because
Hudson Clark.
Yeah, I like his game, and when he went out, that's he's such a guy we need on the field. Did he mention him?
He did. He's saying it's some kind of a back issue. He did point out that he did come back and play, even though he had that problem. But yes, he's having an MRI to see what's going on with his back.
Well, here's a reason why, and this is where we can end on this, Mike. I think there's a number of reasons why it looked like they're a better football team. Top of the list, Taylen Green. The dude can play. I mean, I can't wait to see him go up against SEC teams because you saw the arm strength. Look, I mean, he missed a couple of open guys. Again, maybe that just goes along with the territory from him, but he's a playmaker, and it looks like he's got something with Armstrong. I mean, I think you got a big upgrade at quarterback, and if you upgrade there, man, I mean, you should win some football games.
Well, I said on our pregame show, and I still believe this, even though they surprised me. They were better than I thought they'd be. But I felt like this team had too many new parts to it, new offense, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new starting running back, 3 new guys in the offensive line. I felt like this was too much of a test against a really good, experienced team. I mean, Oklahoma State's the opposite of Arkansas. They had 17 returning starters. Their offensive line, the most experienced offensive line in the country. They had all these returning guys, and Sam Pittman said last week, we're not going to beat them with them making mistakes because they won't. And they didn't do the things that Arkansas did. But that doesn't shock me that Arkansas had some of these issues, because I felt like you're going and putting yourself in a pressure situation on the road too early in what they're trying to do. I think what I would look for is for this team to continue to settle down, solve problems. And in Taylor Green's case, I think he came here knowing that he had some issues. And he came here because Bobby Petrino said, I can fix these things for you, working with you. And so that's what we need to look at, is see him continue to improve. And I agree with you. I think 2-3 games down the road, this guy could end up being really, really salty. He's just got so much ability, and he's just got to stabilize himself. He's got to continue to learn to play in pressure situations. I mean, it's like what Calipari said when he was talking to those guys in practice last summer. He said, you have to learn to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that applies to Taylor Green. He has to learn to settle in to the uncomfortable nature of being under pressure, the kind of pressure he wasn't in last year, because he didn't play in games like this. He didn't play in stadiums like that.
We'll leave it there, Mike. Appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks a lot.
Okay, see you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
You could say the same thing, and I think you pointed this out, Matt, about the pressure on Green in a crowd kind of a situation he hadn't dealt with before. Same with the kickers. Maybe it's a matter of getting used to it a little bit. 877-377-6963 when you want to call or text halftime. We'll be back in just a moment. Wrap up hour number 2. Stay with us.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
This is halftime.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In-Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In-Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In-Stock Parts.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Awake your mind, awake your mind, my skin is bare, my skin is bare. Awake your mind, awake your mind, my skin is bare, my skin is bare.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Back on halftime as we take you into your second hour here. It looks like we got an update on the schedule for the Auburn game. That's one of those flex games, the first one. Initially, they said it'd be anytime from 2:30 to a 7:30 kick, and we still don't really know what time it's going to start, either 2:30 or 3:15. Take your pick on the network, ABC, ESPN, The Deuce, SEC Network. So still don't quite know when the Auburn game's going to be, but we do know it'll be played September 21st, either 2:30 or 3:15 for the kickoff.
Hugh Freeze, man, going to the Plains, Jordan Hurst Stadium. I like our quarterback better than their quarterback. I think the consensus is that they hit. I think I'm excited for this football team to watch them grow, pick themselves up after this game. It wasn't a lack of talent. It was mental mistakes. It was a lack of execution. We can fix that. I like this squad.
You remember, like, second week of the season last year, a win over Kent State, and you look at the final score, it was like an easy win. Nobody walked away from that game thinking, yeah, this is going to be a great season. I feel a little bit differently. I'm not like here telling you you're going to win 8 or 9 games. I do think there's 6. I think there are potentially 6 more wins out there. I really do. Like, I based on what I saw this past Saturday, I think he can reel off a 3-game winning streak before you get Tennessee at home. I will make no predictions on the Tennessee game today, but I think you can beat UAB, Auburn, and A&M in succession. And then the story is, look at how they bounce back, exactly like what you just said, Matt. Hopefully that's exactly what happened. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on halftime. We'll talk with Connor O'Gara about 20 minutes from Saturday Down South. So an open segment coming up. Stay with us. Back after the top of the hour break.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crickhopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crickhopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crickhopper.
Hi everybody, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, this month get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Did you know that almost 80% of all advertising is spent on digital? This is Dale Daniels, Digital Sales Manager for ESPN Arkansas, and due to the growth in digital advertising, we have the opportunity for the right person to join our team. Digital and radio advertising go hand in hand, and we're looking for someone to help businesses grow with this powerful combination. If you have experience in broadcast and digital marketing or business development, we want to hear from you. Email your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will climb into the lower 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 50s. On Tuesday, right back to sunshine. Our high in the mid to upper 80s. And then Wednesday, mixed for clouds and sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com. You got to take that was perspective. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
One Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back into our 1 o'clock hour, 1 minute after to be exact. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson. Matt Jones, my partner. Kristen Johnston is producing. Connor O'Gara, about 15 minutes or so. We'll see what he thought about what happened across college football and specifically the SEC once we hit on with him. But you can get on with us now if you want. 877-377-6963. We do have some things we saw over the weekend that we liked. 3 things we liked, 3 things we did not like. Matt, where do you want to start?
Oh my goodness, Notre Dame. Let's start with the luck of the Irish. Let's get off Arkansas for just a little bit.
Please.
Right. I watched that game. So I watched a couple games, but I got to see most of that Notre Dame NIU game. And I think that might be Tony Romo's alma mater, but
yeah,
wow, they couldn't tackle the running back. Everything I said about Notre Dame the week before about being an SEC caliber team and being physical and how they took it to A&M, it's like that wasn't even the same team I watched against A&M. I could not believe that Notre Dame just got out manhandled, got out physical, got out coached, got outplayed at home by NIU. Could not believe it.
Marcus Freeman said, "We believe the hype." This was the NIU radio broadcast at the very end.
Here comes the field goal unit.
Oh, my goodness
Let's
gracious.
go, Mitch Jeter. Yeah, Jeets.
You asked, does he have 63 in him? He's going to need 62. Between the hashes, his career long is 53. You got to be kidding me. With the game on the line, 16-14, Huskies lead. Jeter's on the field between the hashes. This is for the ball game with 5 seconds left. Mitch Jeter, the kick is blocked. Northern Illinois recovers. The clock runs out, and the Huskies have beaten Notre Dame. It's the biggest win in their history.
Pretty amazing. That's it's like reminders, although it's a different level. That's reminders of Appalachian State against Michigan, right? Blocked field goal at the end to seal it. That's exactly right. All right, what's one thing that was down for you?
Well, that was
the down one.
That was a down one. I'll give you one thing that was up for me. That was a down one. Did everybody see this Anthony Richardson play? The quarterback for the Colts?
Well, hold on one moment. This is what it sounded like.
1st and 10. Pressure's coming. Richardson slips. Now he's airing it out. Deep down the field for Pierce. Pierce. Touchdown. What a throw by Richardson. A 60-yard touchdown.
Matt, like 60 yards after slipping? That's crazy.
He just flicked it. That was just all natural God-given ability. Reminded me of the year when the Ravens won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. I believe that was years ago, 2013, as the year they got there. But Flacco would have some throws like there. The pocket's closing down on him. He just kind of flicks it. Now, you see what the hype is with Anthony Richardson. I mean, just a tremendous athlete, competitor, can run, needs reps. But that's what that right there, 3 quarterbacks can do that. I mean, that's a special play.
That's pretty amazing. They still lost to the Titans, though, as well as he played. Richardson, a couple of touchdowns, 1 interception, ran for 56 yards on 6 carries and scored again. But as you pointed out, he hadn't really played a lot of football. He should be able to get a lot better as he continues to play football. My first up, this kind of blew me away. The former Pac-12 schools are a combined 21-2. Just Colorado losing to Nebraska and Stanford losing to TCU. It was maybe the most exciting league in college football last year, and now it's disparate parts, which have scattered to 2 other leagues and then actually 3 other leagues, and 2 schools that have formed their own 2-team league are a combined 21-2. And oh, by the way, Oregon State gets Oregon this next week. So hey, Oregon hasn't looked very good in wins over Idaho and Boise State, so maybe Oregon State can pull it off.
Yeah, the Civil War will be fun. Phil, the best running back in the country might be at Boise State. He's surely on the fantasy numbers, and you look at who they have to play. Dude's going to rush for 1,500 yards and 25 touchdowns. I mean, they can't tackle him these first 2 games. This kid is an absolute beast.
Ashton Jeanty.
Oh my!
I'm not
goodness.
sure if I'm even saying his
I think
name
he has
properly.
9 touchdowns in his first 2 games. They can't tackle him.
He scored 6 touchdowns against Georgia Southern, and then 192 and 3 touchdowns against the number 7 Ducks. That's kind of wild. It's like also too, you can believe those numbers, I guess. So I know how Mike Irwin had pointed out where Arkansas ranks in total offense and points scored and all of that. You have to take some. Look, you play the team that's in front of you. But I'm going to take those statistics and those numbers with about a half a shaker full of salt right now.
The very first game of the year, we can't put those numbers in when we're averaging out. That's a standalone game. That game, take those numbers, and that's cool for the end of the year. Hey, these are your stats. This is real. These are cool numbers. In anything numbers that you're crunching for this football season, you're like the Germany judge. You're taking out the high score and the low score. We're taking that one out. Don't add those to anything and give me an average about what this team is putting UAPB numbers in there. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not going to be quoting the season stats just yet. Not at all. All right, here's a big down for you. Oh, the Carolina Panthers. Who is it that said it's going to be a long year coming up soon for somebody? That's
Oklahoma guy.
Yeah, that's borrowing one of your terms. It's going to be a really long year for the Carolina Panthers. Could they conceivably end up with the number 1 pick for the second time in 3 years? Heck, it would have been 3 years in a row because they traded last year's number 1 overall pick without even realizing it was going to be number 1 overall. That's a bad team. And Bryce Young was taken out after a couple of interceptions. I think he was intercepted on his first pass of the first half and his second pass of the second half.
I don't know how much. I've only seen Carolina football a little bit. I've seen their owner throw a drink on one of their fans more than I've seen Carolina football in the last 2 years. But when I watch it, Bryce Young just doesn't belong. I mean, I don't know if you can get him on another team, but he just looks little bitty. He's like the size of Michael Vick, but he doesn't run 4.3, and he doesn't have the arm Michael Vick had. So that's a long road. You put your franchise on a kid that's 5'10", 185. I just, I don't know what they're doing in Carolina because whatever this is, they need to be relegated. It's a good thing we don't have relegation in NFL.
All right, give me another thing you liked and another thing you didn't from the weekend.
Well, one thing I didn't like was Colorado just getting absolutely pushed around against Nebraska. That's another game I watched. I watched the first half, watched a little bit of the second half, and you you could kind of see the way it's going. And then it seems like there's excuses coming out of there. It's not Sanders' fault; it's somebody else's fault. I think that could be on fire before the end of the year. And do either one of them, does he finish the season, because he's going to get beat up. He's going to get sacked a lot. Where does that go? Does Colorado win 6 games this year? I don't think so.
So where Shiloh has had forearm surgery today.
Yeah, their safety, yeah.
Shedeur is basically throwing his offensive line under the bus after 2 games in. Hey, last year at this point of the year, it was all about hype. Watch out for Colorado. They're 3-0. It is ugly right now. All right, what did you like though?
Tennessee Volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, they look scary. That's a team that's getting better from week 1 to week 2 to that's a game you might be onto something, Phil. If the Hogs can take care of business coming up to what is that, October 5th, you could have game day there in Fayetteville because I'll have to look at Tennessee's schedule. Let's see who they got. I could see them, Oklahoma.
Their toughest game up until then is Oklahoma. They have a
bye week.
They're off before they come to Fayetteville.
They'll beat Kent State. They'll beat Oklahoma bye week. Yeah, man, that's Tennessee's scary.
The other games, and these are just SEC games. I haven't looked at the others. That could be the best game of the week in the SEC, as long as the Razorbacks hold their end of the bargain. I'm not sure if I see other games that are any better than it. So that could be in a chance. But you got to be 4-1 in order to get game day, I think. All right, number 2 that I liked was Chris Boswell from my Steelers. They beat the Falcons 18-10, and Boswell was the man. 6 for 6 kicking field goals, 57, 51, 56, 44, 40, and 25. Better be the best player, the special teams player of the week in the NFL. Of course, if he was an SEC kicker, he would be co-special teams player of the week. Number 2 for my down. I'm going to go down for the Tom Brady critics for his first broadcast with Fox.
No, I wasn't sure with you coming in the booth. I made sure I did my hair real nice. I figured there'd be some more on cameras with you here today. Just a hunch.
Hey, well, just more we could do up here to provide the fan experience. I do what they tell me. Understand that. I'm still a rookie in here.
And that's the thing I'm trying to take from it. I did watch a lot of that broadcast. I didn't think Brady was great, but it's the first time he ever did this. His voice sounded a little weird, but it doesn't have to always sound like that. Think of, how he looked his first game as a quarterback in the NFL, and he got a lot better after that. So I expect Brady will work at it, will get better, and he may end up being entertaining. I will say, I thought Greg Olsen was terrific, so
well,
I feel for him.
That's the name thing right there. That's why Tom Brady's art would always sell for more than Greg Olsen's. Greg Olsen's way better right now than Tom. That doesn't mean Brady can't get better at it because he's going to work. He's a competitor. You would have liked to seen him put Brady on the third game, like as far as marquee matchup and keep Greg there. But it's Tom Brady. We got to put him out there. We just gave him $100 million, so you get it, and he'll get better. I'm with you. He'll get better.
All right, what's your third, Matt?
It's two Arkansas things. So it's the downer is just the mistakes, the lack of attention to detail, the execution. That was the downer because it wasn't the talent. Last year it was the talent. This year we have more talent, but we didn't execute. We beat ourselves. Absolute bummer. And then the positive thing, we had the three best players on the field. Our receiver was the best. Our quarterback was the best. And our running back. So looking forward, looking in the future, we have talent there. They can go and compete. It's just a bummer we took an L.
And on the other side?
That was it. That was the bummer was the fact that we took an L and we fumbled punts and couldn't snap the ball and dropped dropped a sweet pitch and couldn't get to the quarterback. That's the bummer. The positive was we had a quarterback that was 416 yards. We had a running back 149 yards. We had a receiver with 10 catches, 160. We got talent there, so there's positive to build on.
Third up for me, Jaden Daniels in a loss to Tampa Bay looked really good. 17 of 24, 184 yards, carried 16 times for 88 and a couple touchdowns. Third down, Caleb Williams' NFL debut. 14 out of 29, 93 yards, and a quarterback rating of 22.2. The weird thing is, Daniels played well in a loss. Williams played poorly in a win. So you want the win, not the loss. I guess the stats don't really matter very much. I did have a fourth on both sides here. Fourth down goes to the Cleveland Browns. I really enjoy watching Deshaun Watson play quarterback, but only for the Cleveland Browns. When is Jameis Winston taking over? Got to happen soon because Watson looks awful.
When is Michael Penix going to take over at Atlanta? You're right on there. And I had another up as well, but Texas gets enough love on this show. But that's the biggest win of the season so far. They went into the big house and that environment and just kind of made it look easy.
My fourth up goes to one of my broadcast partners for the Razorback football broadcast, Gino Bell, on the sidelines. This was quick. Chuck asked him for a description of what it sounded like in the crowd after Arkansas tied the game with Luke Haz's long touchdown catch and run. And I've never heard this before. Gino's quick on his feet. He says, it was as quiet as a mouse having an accident on cotton. We all had to look at ourselves at that moment. It's like, what? Oh, yeah, I can see how that would work. Well done, Gino Bell. Very well done. Quick break in a moment. First, want to remind you about Crabtree RV Center in Alma. That's the dealership that served our listening audience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years. Junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel. You're looking for an RV for your family's adventures? Guarantee there is one or two or three on lot at Crabtree RV Center that fits your needs perfectly. They have the service and parts department on site, everything you need in between. Crabtree RV. Online at crabtreerv.com. Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South will stop by right after this break.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
This is halftime. Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Try our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game is over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in DeQueen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Thanks for watching.
Unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
The Solid Rock has been locally owned for over 46 years. When was the last time you were there? So much more than a bookstore. They have Christian t-shirts, church supplies, Bible studies, devotionals, home decor, gifts, and of course, a large selection of Bibles. And Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Now, you can get custom laser engraving on select gift items and some Bibles. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock is your source for faith-based books, music, clothing, and more. The Solid Rock, 452-4844.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You got to come original. It's the day now, come original. You got to come original. You got to come original. It's the day now. You come original. It ain't nothing great. You got to represent. You got to come for it. And for it, so good. For it, style. When you build it, you have to come for miles. And come original. You got to come original. It's the day now, come original. You got to come original. You got to come original. It's the day now.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
On our hotline right now is Connor O'Gara, the senior columnist on Saturday Down South. We appreciate him joining us on this Monday. Connor, how'd you enjoy the first couple of weeks of college football?
Lovely and unpredictable. I am currently wrapping up a column about the preseason predictions that I already feel terrible about. It was that kind of Saturday, it felt like, in college football. So, yeah, there's nothing like having 8 months of thoughts about something and then just immediately reverting back to something else. It was a wild and weird week 2.
I'm seeing news out of Stillwater that Colin Oliver, one of the linebackers, is out for a month with a foot injury that he suffered in the game against Arkansas. He only made a couple of tackles. Connor, that was a tough one for the Hawks because they outplayed Oklahoma State in just about every facet, but couldn't hold on to the ball, couldn't get out of their own way in some cases, and a very winnable road game against a good Oklahoma State team fell through their fingers.
The fact that they held Ollie Gordon without a run longer than 5 yards for the first 3 quarters of that game and still lost is such a tough pill to swallow, because I thought that defense, for the most part, really did what it set out to do. And Travis Williams, I continue to say he's very underrated as a defensive coordinator and somebody that I think is going to be rising in the coaching ranks very soon. But man, Arkansas did so many things well on the offensive side of the ball, and this 1-2 punch of Taylor Green and Quinton Jackson looks like it's going to be fun this year. But that's the type of loss that if you're in year 1, it has a totally different vibe. And I think you could take all the positives from that if you were a year 1 coach and go, see, this is something to build on moving forward. And instead, with Sam Pittman, someone who knows that he's on the hot seat, this is the type of loss that can be the difference in you staying and going. It really could be. And it could be the type of game that Sam Pittman wants to have back, because you continue to lose these 1-score games, and at a certain point, that comes back to the head coach. And many would argue that point came long ago, but a very, very winnable game, a game that Mike Gundy tried to give away by settling for a field goal, kneeling to get to a field goal in overtime that was missed. I feel terrible for Arkansas fans who endure just a roller coaster Saturday.
Connor, in week 1, I thought USC's victory over LSU was the best win of the week. This last week, Texas going into the Big House and just the way they won that game. Any hesitation to put them at number 1 overall right now after that win?
I'd be okay with it. I put Georgia at number 1 overall. We do weekly top 25 on SaturdayDownSouth.com, but I have no problem with putting Texas at number 1. And if you were of the belief that Texas wasn't worthy of being in the national championship conversation, I hope you watched the way that Texas won that game, because it felt like all of the areas that we had questions about with this Texas team, it felt like they really thrived in those spots. The defensive line, they lost Bo Davis to LSU. They lost their top 2 guys, Sweat and Murphy, to the NFL, and they were exceptional, I thought, against the Michigan offensive line that was supposed to be their anchor. And along with Michigan's defensive line with Mason Graham and All-American, they really did not have a whole lot of success at all. And Quinn Ewers, the plays that guy continues to make, doesn't matter that he's got a new look group of receivers. He just continues to rise in these big-time moments. It felt like he just picked up right where he left off last year in the Week 2 win that they had at Alabama. It was more of the same. And Texas is for real. And even if you don't think Michigan is worthy of even being in the playoff conversation, if you think they're going to revert back to being a 7-5, 8-4 team, think about this. Isn't that what a national championship contender is supposed to do in front of 100,000 fans? 100,000 fans who haven't seen their home team lose in front of them since 2019? Like that's what you're supposed to look like. And to me, all the credit in the world goes to Steve Sarkisian.
And I have a thought on Auburn. I know that was Auburn's been a kind of a pick for maybe one of the more improved teams from one year to the next under Hugh Freeze. I don't know how many people, though, had barely being able to move the ball against Cal at home. And I've thought this from the start, but the more I look at what happened in that ball game, 2 weeks from now on the Plains, that is as winnable of a road game for Arkansas as they'll have all year long.
Arkansas's defensive line has the advantage up front against Auburn's offensive line. I mean, there's no question about it. And for those wondering, like, could Hugh Freeze make a change? He just had media availability and said, like, yeah, Peyton Thorne's outplaying all of them in practice. So if you're an Auburn fan who's hoping for a change, that doesn't really feel like it's imminent. I don't really think that New Mexico, not New Mexico State, but New Mexico, I don't think they're going to be the ones to necessarily expose Peyton Thorne. But it was disastrous. Like, it was a game that I watched, and I just felt like I was watching the game that they played against New Mexico State last year. It was that all over again. Peyton Thorne, the struggles that he has in year 2 in this scheme with better pass catchers, is so frustrating. I predicted that Peyton Thorne is going to be the most improved player in the SEC. I like the surroundings a lot more. I like the fact that he was going to be in year 2 in the scheme, full off season, and he looked like an even worse version of himself. To me, that is just a team right now that feels like it could be all over the place. And they didn't go after a quarterback in the portal. I can bet you that Auburn fans are absolutely wishing that they had a guy like a Taylon Green who could actually do some things that makes your team better instead of looking like the guy that is holding everything back.
Connor, I was impressed with Tennessee as well. What are your thoughts? I know Tennessee, you got to play the people on your schedule. They got another warm up before Oklahoma. Is Tennessee the real deal? Does Tennessee have a legitimate shot to make this playoff 12?
Yeah, no doubt about it. They do. Look, I was skeptical of Tennessee because all the new pieces they had in their secondary, their 5 guys in their defensive backfield that played at least 300 snaps last year, all were gone. And NFL, transfer portal, like they just had an entirely new look secondary. And I thought, you know what, that's going to give them problems. What's going to happen if they can't generate pressure up front? I know everybody loves James Pierce Jr. and Amari Thomas on the defensive line, but what's it going to look like behind those guys? You just might not have to worry about it if they're going to continue to win battles like that up front because, my goodness, I mean, the scary thing about that game, a top 25 matchup that that did not feel like it by day's end. They won that game 51-10 against a respected NC State program, and it felt like they actually left some points out there. I mean, Nico Iamaleava had 2 interceptions in this game and was solid. He was fine, but he didn't make all those dazzling throws that we've seen him make in the young part of his career. And instead, this Tennessee defense just continues to take over. They still have not allowed a touchdown yet this season. They might not allow a touchdown against Kent State this week. They might be going into that Oklahoma game in week 4 without having allowed a touchdown on that side of the ball, which is just remarkable. Credit Tim Banks. That group has certainly outperformed what I thought they would be able to do this year. Josh Heupel's got himself a real legitimate football team. They're a 12-team playoff contender, no doubt.
All right, how bad could it get for Kentucky now? I mean, that was a yeesh against South Carolina. They get Georgia this week. I mean, Ole Miss 2 weeks after that, before the bye. I mean, they very well could be 0-3. They probably will be 0-3 in the SEC. And we've kicked it around in the show quite a bit. It's like Mark Stoops did not really seem like he was very long for being a coach any longer in college football. And I guess Kentucky kind of played like that.
One of my predictions coming into this season was that Mark Stoops would step down at Kentucky after this year, that this would be his last season in Lexington. And every vibe that I've gotten from them is that he is not really into this version of college football. I think it frustrates him. I think he does everything he feels like he can possibly do in terms of hiring offensive coordinator, getting big splashy pieces on the offensive side of the ball in the transfer portal, and he feels like it still isn't enough. And I think that frustrates him. And I looked at this matchup as a favorable one for Kentucky because, yes, it was only Southern Miss in the opener, but that Kentucky defense was still going to be able to have its way against the South Carolina offense. And they actually performed pretty well. They had a couple of coverage busts and got exposed on the back end a little bit. But, man, this Kentucky offensive line that was once a staple of a Mark Stoops program had no chance whatsoever. And South Carolina's pass rush is legit. I mean, that's why they're hosting College Game Day against LSU. That group is fun up front. But, man, it was so bad. And I couldn't have imagined that Brock Vandagriff was going to look that bad in 60 minutes of football against anyone this year, much less against South Carolina at home. It certainly does not bode well for his reunion against his former team this upcoming week, the former Georgia transfer. So I think there are a lot of people in Lexington that are feeling like this might be the beginning of the end.
Now, maybe I should hesitate putting in these terms just based on what I saw from Arkansas this past Saturday. I look at games at Auburn and at Starkville as you need to win these games and probably should win those games too. Looking at the A&M game, A&M played a very an uninteresting game, or uninterested against Notre Dame. Notre Dame apparently believed the hype, according to Marcus Freeman in their loss against Northern Illinois. Arkansas can beat A&M at the Cowboys Stadium. And I'm saying that independent of the idea that, yeah, they always play them tough, but they usually find a way to lose. This team this year can beat that A&M team, without having to be fancy or anything. It's based on what I saw this past Saturday. What do you think of A&M right now?
Yeah, the only the only reservation I would have with that, because you're right, I absolutely think Arkansas can beat A&M, despite the fact that Jerry World has obviously been a house of horror for the Razorbacks. But the only thing that would concern me is what those Texas A&M defensive ends can do against Taylon Green. If they can force him into some of those mistakes, which we know down the stretch, ball security was an issue, and it wasn't just Taylon Green. I thought the Satania fumble was really, really costly in that spot. But I think that's maybe the only thing that could prevent me from definitively saying, yes, Arkansas should absolutely have that advantage, because those Texas A&M defensive linemen had a lot of success against Notre Dame. Now, they couldn't get those stops down the stretch, but they did everything in their power to be able to win. A&M does have a lot of flaws, though. They have flaws on the offensive line. They don't have go-to receivers. I like Connor Wigman a lot, and I do think he'll have better days than he had against the Irish, but he really struggled with his decision-making in that one. And what does it look like for A&M when they don't necessarily get that push up front and they aren't winning those one-on-ones with those stud defensive linemen? But, yeah, man, you suddenly look at that Arkansas schedule with the strength and the identity that it feels like Arkansas has at this point of the season. It does feel like there are a lot more winnable games than what we were probably projecting, before this season.
Great stuff, Connor. We went through just about the entire SEC there. So looking forward to doing it again in a couple of weeks, and that'll be Auburn week for us.
Awesome. Really appreciate it, guys.
You got it. Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. We appreciate his time. He gives it to us every other Monday. By the way, it'll be the A&M game when we do talk to him again that week. Halftime's brought to you by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, right next to Baum Walker Stadium. It is football season. If you're not loaded up on all your hog gear, we'll get over to the Stadium Shop today. They've got everything you need for tailgating, game day, man cave, or dorm room, or anything else, because it doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt, their family, their alumni, and they're local. It can be reached at 479-STADIUM. Or just stop by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Make sure you tell them ESPN sent you. They're online at shoponrazorback.com. Hotlines open for the remainder of the show, 877-377-6963. It's the home stretch, and we'll return right after this.
Last issue. Chaz Michael Michaels is figure skating.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Summer's winding down, but the savings are just getting started. Dive into the end-of-season sale at Burton Pools and Spas, where owning a pool is more affordable than ever. For a limited time, save up to $14,000 on fiberglass pools. And the first 10 customers who purchase an Aquacrete pool with a premium vinyl finish will receive a free hot tub. Don't miss these incredible deals. Visit our stores in Fort Smith, Springdale, or Greenland, or go to BurtonPools.com for more details. At Burton, we do more than build swimming pools. We build long-term relationships.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Did you know that almost 80% of all advertising is spent on digital? This is Dale Daniels, Digital Sales Manager for ESPN Arkansas. And due to the growth in digital advertising, we have the opportunity for the right person to join our team. Digital and radio advertising go hand in hand, and we're looking for someone to help businesses grow with this powerful combination. If you have experience in broadcast and digital marketing or business development, we want to hear from you. Email your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Mama, let me be. Don't come hanging round my door. I wanna see your face no more. I got more important things to do than spend my time going on with you. Stay away. Listen what I say.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Home stretch of halftime. We've got Rod in Fort Smith with us here on hold. Hey, Rod, appreciate you calling today. How are you?
I'm not bad. A little sick over the loss. I mean, it looked a little familiar from years past, to tell the two halves. But the thing came down to one play. I know everybody was nervous, especially that kicker, but 4th and 1. Where have I heard this before? 4th and 1, 4th and 2. And somebody always wants to go for it. I mean, you got a kicker. Okay, so he's not the best kicker in the world, but that was a new team, and nervous as they were, I think I'd have lined up and went for a field goal.
It's 4th and 5, if I remember exactly. But well, let me ask you this, Matt. If that's Cam Little instead of Kyle Ramsey, you think Sam Pittman chooses to kick the field goal at that moment?
I would think so. I think knowing your talent, how far. So when it was 4th and 5 right there, what was our distance? How far of a field goal would it have been?
I think it would have been between 40 and 41, which was exactly the distance he'd missed from in the previous drive.
I'm kicking the field goal.
See, at that point, I figure it's like, well, in your mind, you know what you just did to miss it. It looked like he just came up short. I would think he can make it that second time around.
I'm trotting him out there. I'm building him up. I'm giving him confidence. I'm like, hey, and that's as soon as he missed that one, I would have been telling him we're going to need you later today. Get it out of your head. Short memory. Be like a defensive back. 100%. Knowing that it's a 39, 40-yard field goal right there and everything that's going on, I would have sent him out there. But you know who doesn't watch the kickers? Bobby Petrino. You know when they're on the headset and they're talking about it, you know how many people had that kicker's back? Probably not a lot. So there wasn't anybody in his corner. So that was tough. But as a player, as a quarterback, if you're Taylor Green, you got to go up to him after he misses that, slap him on the ass and say, buddy, we're here with you. You're going to get another opportunity. We're going to need you. Get it out of your mind. And that was it. But you said it in the first segment of the very first show, hindsight's 20/20. If we would have got the first down, we'd be talking, you know, if number 5 catches that pass in the end zone, we go up 28. A lot of the game comes down to about 4 plays. We made a different play about 4 of those plays. We would have won this game by 2 scores.
I wonder if that kicker had to walk home or if had to find his own way, or did he make it on the bus?
Hey, he got him in. He made the one to get us in OT.
He did hit.
You
the
got to
field
go
goal
give
to
him some
send it.
love.
True. Like I said, I'd go with the kicker every time, but I'm not Bobby and I'm not Sam. But we've done this before several times, and it's just over the last few years. And I'm going with the kicker all every day.
Rod, I appreciate your phone call. Thanks a lot. 877-377-6963. And I feel for the kid, really, but it's just very odd to think about the idea of where it looks like a really improved football team. Matt, offensive line, running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight ends are the same. Defensive line looks really good. I think your linebacking core is better. Secondary played fairly well. But the one spot right now where they've taken, a bit of a hit is place kicker. That's where you were really strong last year. And I can't help but think about it. The kickers that were on the team last year went 3 for 3 in NFL games yesterday. Couldn't convince either of them to stay. I don't remember if Bates had any eligibility left or not. I know Cam did. But hey, I guess that's what happens. That's why what do they say? If you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Maybe it's the same thing with place kickers too. 877-377-6963 on anything about that. I did want to bring this up. This hit me a little bit. I watched NFL Countdown on ESPN yesterday, and they are really I thought it was a good package put together by Alex Smith, or his producer, and Smith was the guy that was on camera for it. And it was about they were centering on the Steelers quarterback room and the idea that you got an older, experienced Super Bowl winning veteran quarterback in Russ Wilson, and the younger, really talented guy who's just not quite sure of how to put it together yet in Justin Fields, and about that relationship. Of course, Alex Smith, everybody knows him, not just from being a number 1 overall pick, but the guy that, mentored Patrick Mahomes. And he and Mahomes did sit together for a while, and they focused in on a number of those kind of quarterback relationships with the older guy that's supposedly supposed to mentor and the younger guy who's supposed to be the sponge. But they also did focus in on some that didn't quite work out. And Drew Bledsoe was a part of 2 of these kind of relationships. We all know about him with Tom Brady, and they definitely talked about that. But then there was Tony Romo, and I did not think, I had no idea about this, but this was Bledsoe talking about being taken out at halftime by Parcells for Tony Romo and the effect that had on Romo for the rest of that first year.
In Dallas, Parcells made the decision to yank me at halftime of a game and throw Romo in there. Really didn't agree with that one. If you're watching this, Romo, you know this is true. The minute that he became the starter, he became pretty big in his own mind. And he was no longer the curious, inquisitive guy. Well, that was the difference between him and Tommy. Tommy became the starter. He still was asking all the questions, where all of a sudden Romo was the guy that had all the answers.
Yeah, I did not expect that part. I didn't know about that to begin with, but that was interesting because he even said, if you're watching Romo, and then he blasted him about it.
Cut me deep right there. The first cut is the deepest. Man, that was some Bledsoe. I think he might have had some of that grape juice that is so fond of before that one.
He had a nice hairdo on there and everything.
Unnecessary.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, just coming in off the top rope. Tell me how you really feel.
He had great things to say about Brady. But on the other hand, they won a Super Bowl together. Bledsoe was the reason, not Brady, that they won that AFC title game in Pittsburgh. Bledsoe led them to the touchdown. Brady did not. He was hurt. Special teams and defense were the reason there. But that just you never hear anybody go in that direction, right? It's just, you can tell if somebody's sort of saying, yeah, he kind of thought he knew everything, but you don't exactly use those direct words. So I don't know if the next time that those guys ever reunite, if it's going to be a very happy reunion.
I don't think a wine would take, if it was called sour grapes, that could be his next bottle that he could go, but I don't know if it would sell very well.
You know, and Smith sat with Aaron Rodgers. You know, I mean, the other side of that relationship, and they've been public about this for a long time. Heck, they were public about it when Rodgers was drafted. I'm not here to mentor him. Remember, Brett Favre said it publicly. Rodgers is saying, hey, I don't need to be welcomed in or anything. We'll compete. And I think maybe I think Rodgers took that experience, and I'm not sure if it's just part of his personality or, hey, this is how I was, quote unquote, welcomed in by my mentor, so I'm going to treat the other young quarterbacks the same way. But it sounds like it might be kind of the same thing. Anyway, that one hit me a little bit. Found it really interesting. And Cowboys fans out there thinking, hey, why did we have to sign Dak Prescott to the 4-year extension?
How about some big ups right there? CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott getting a combined over $300 million to their cap. I mean, that's what they're getting. I mean, golly, just talk about two absolute studs. How cool is that?
Yeah, and then they went out and they absolutely laid waste to the Cleveland Browns. So it wasn't really much about Dak or CD. It was about that defense. 33-17. Halftime is brought to you by our friends at Pradco Fishing Lures. Doing any cold water bass fishing on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, fishing for a trophy brown on the Mighty White anytime soon, you're going to have the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue with you. Has that famous rolling action when you fish it extremely slow or fast and heavy current. The Rogue suspends. It's in the strike zone longer, and you'll catch much more fish. Find it at learnet.com and tackle stores everywhere. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. Back to wrap up a Monday halftime right after this break.
McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What are you trying to be, an Irish R&B singer?
This is halftime.
At the toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality, price, and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco.
For hard work and the great outdoors.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey, Todd Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town. And they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Brew Pig Suey is back. The Arkansas Razorbacks Outdoor Beer Festival is almost here and will be held prior to the Razorback football game on September 14th versus UAB. The festival will be held on the west lawn of Bud Walton Arena from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and features 25-plus breweries, a live DJ, local food trucks, and more. Tickets start at just $50 and include a limited edition tasting cup, unlimited pours, and more. With all proceeds from the event benefiting Arkansas Edge NIL. Visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com for more information.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Stick around. You're gonna hear an attitude inside the ball sound.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
I had a couple people text in at the same time that they were sick of talking about Arkansas. They wanted to talk about Notre Dame and the Fighting Zach Oranges. Well, you can start doing that at 2 o'clock for about 4 hours. I'm sure that'll be lots of fun for everybody involved. In the meantime, NFL Monday Night Football tonight. Jets at Niners. Niners are a 4-point favorite. 4 is not necessarily the betting line for a number of snaps that Aaron Rodgers will take in his season debut like last year. That Bet Saracen also has the Razorbacks a 24.5-point favorite against UAB for this Saturday. So we'll see if that goes down. I know Saturday is a big day for you, Matt. You'll go into the Arkansas Hall of Honor. Very well deserved, and I'm excited for you and your family to be a part of that. Won't be on the show on Friday because you guys have all kinds of events and everything like that. But congratulations, man. I know we congratulated you, and it was announced. This is the week. It's a big week, big weekend.
Big weekend up on the hill for the Hogs. Pretty cool. I wouldn't be there without any of my teammates. That's all that award is. It's really celebrating all my teammates because it's an ultimate team game. I can't make it there on your own, and just thankful to my coaches and all my teammates. Absolutely.
Well, let's see. Tomorrow on halftime, we'll figure out somebody to bring on in our first hour. We used to have Chuck Barrett on in that first hour, but, he's got something else going on in the mornings these days. Alyssa Orange and Bill King will stop by, and he's got to hash out this Arkansas-Oklahoma State game just a little bit more before we move on to UAB. We'll have some sound from Sam Pittman, injury updates on some Razorbacks, Hudson Clark, Patrick Kudus, Marquise Robinson Cuddy. He's the one who had the interception against Oklahoma State when he was at South Alabama last year. Didn't get on the field, according to Coach Pittman, during the game because he suffered a stinger during warm-ups. That's too bad. So, I mean, him and Hudson Clark, two of your guys that you expected to get a lot of playing time, and Clark was out after the first quarter. Cuddy never got on the field, so maybe a little bit banged up in the secondary. And as far as Patrick Kudus is concerned, Coach Pittman said that he's usually an optimistic person, but not very optimistic that Kudus will get back on the field within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I thought Amarion Harris played really well, so left guard should be okay for Arkansas. That's halftime for a Monday. It's great to be back with Christian, with Matt. If you missed anything today, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast has our conversations with Nate Olson, with Mike Irwin and with Connor O'Gara. And we'll be back with you again tomorrow for another award-winning edition of Halftime. For Matt Jones, for Christian Johnston, I'm Phil. Appreciate you tuning in today. Have a great rest of your Monday, and stay tuned for R&Z. Now get up, get out, and get better.